So we started a couple of years ago. We saw a hole in the market where we saw unstable value with digital currencies, and we...
Hi, I'm Caleb Gates from Alphagrowth. We're at the Crypto Invest Summit in Los Angeles, California. Joining me is Dan from Seccurrency. Dan, where'd the name Seccurrency come from?
So we started a couple of years ago. We saw a hole in the market where we saw unstable value with digital currencies, and we figured that we ought to bring securities into the space. And so the combination of a security, which has investment characteristics, but with the benefits of a currency, is what makes a Seccurrency. Yeah, there you go. How about that?
Okay, that's pretty great. You came up with that?
I came up with that in the shower, actually. So,
do you have the website? Was that registered? You have to buy it off someone on like GoDaddy?
We did not, though there are some funky, similar close-by names
that
awesome. We wish weren't so close to our good name.
Okay. So security. What do you? And no, not
security tokens.
Security
are
tokens.
What we specialize in. Mm-hmm.
So what does your company do? What's something you're working on? What's your next big step?
Yeah, so we make it easy for issuers. Those are people trying to raise capital to actually issue their security tokens. We give them a nice, easy workflow that they can walk through. It's sort of like TurboTax does when you're paying your taxes.
The best.
So yeah, we do the same thing for security token issuers. There's so many different details associated with compliance steps. If you talk to 10 different lawyers, you get 10 different answers. We make it a very easy process that walks you through. We actually issue the tokens automatically, and then we do other things that most security tokens can't do. So we allow for secondary market trading of those tokens, so that's where the real liquidity comes from. And then we do automated reporting. So our specialty is these compliance-aware tokens that can flow across the various distributed ledger technologies. But what's cool about those tokens is it automates the regulatory reporting components. It automates investor voting and other features that are part of
investor voting, like actual
token holder voting. So as you participate in these offerings, you can govern now in a very different way, as the holders of the tokens can actually vote on specific issues, which defines how the government or how the company behaves.
That's awesome.
We're both at the end of the day here, so we're stumbling a little bit on our words.
But so what's something that you're excited about? What's maybe a token that recently launched or a project? No advice here, no investment advice, but like what's something that you're bullish on?
Yeah, so actually one of our first token issuances was a funding platform for developing world farmers.
Okay.
So what's cool about the blockchain, of course, is it has global reach and can reach areas where previously finance was not available. And most of the world really suffers from a lack of liquidity and lack of access to capital. This is particularly true for the world's poorest, which are small holding farmers. So even simple access to capital for a small holding farmer comes at a great cost, effectively payday lenders. And this keeps farmers really in poverty in most parts of the world. Through the blockchain and through our offering, we're actually able to bring sophisticated financial tools, securitization, all the way out to the edge of the world and get these farmers access to low-cost capital. It changes lives. So this, whether it's funding developing world farm finance, large real estate offerings here in the United States, there's a range that goes all the way from the edge to the center of finance. But the big deal is it's really bringing those services from the world's financial centers out to the rest of
New York City is going to become a ghost town, or what?
About a ghost town. It'll take a little while before everything equalizes in this, but it's actually these concentrations of wealth that come from people who help other people move money are really...
They're going to dry up.
They'll at least dissipate.
Soon. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious about the farmer thing. You get them capital. What does that look like to the farmer? They can then buy a tractor? Or?
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so we have a great partner in this through MIT Connections, a company called Recult, which is the middle letters in agriculture. So they
Another great namer. I mean,
really,
you got your team up.
Yeah, we did. And so what we did, they're sort of the Uber of agricultural logistics. So they work with overhead satellite imagery to get the farmers high quality advice. They have on the ground operations, that's the sort of Uber spot, where they can actually deliver the high quality goods, et cetera, using really native infrastructure. The piece that they were missing is farmers have no credit. They don't have access to credit cards. They have no model by which they can pay for any kind of services. They typically go through exploitative middle lenders called RT in many parts of the world. The RT will charge anywhere from 80 to 100% interest on these farmers, and it leaves the farmers in generational debt. Well, with our partners, they're able to actually get the farmers high quality inputs delivered according to the needs of the land to increase their productivity. They use our platform for the lending pool. So they actually deliver the loans to the farmers, not as cash, but as the goods that they need for their crops.
Okay.
The farmers actually go through the crop cycle. They come back using local delivery models, deliver the goods to market, but with pre-negotiated prices. So the other problem that the farmers have is they have no negotiating power downstream. And so as they deliver those goods to the farmers, or excuse me, to the market, they get better prices, pay back the lending pool, and then give the farmer the proceeds on this. So the farmers are actually working a cashless model there, but they increase their productivity in the end. This produces, it changes lives. The farmers have much more productivity, much higher take-home pay in a model like this. And again, it reaches all the way where others can't.
Yeah, thinking back to history class, like tenant farmers, like you end up buying so much from the company store that you're in debt. You don't even work for.
In fact, that's
what you just described to me, and you're taking over that by.
So we started in Asia, in Pakistan and Thailand, with this particular model. Now our platform, this is just one of hundreds of business models that we touch with our platform, but we find it interesting on this. But you're absolutely right. In this model, the farmers get indebted when they charge outrageous interest rates, and the RT actually hold all the cards.
What's an RT? What's that stand for? You said that's the lender.
Yeah,
Does that have a name, or is that
it's
foreign?
the local word
Okay.
for these lenders in the region. They hold all the cards, so they can basically charge the farmer what they want to, because the farmer actually needs the seeds so that they can feed their family in this. But what ends up happening is you get generational debt. So you owe not just your debt, but your father's debt and your grandfather's debt, and then the RT come back and they say, I'm not sure I can give you this loan unless you give me the land, and you work for me now. And then you can keep your family fed. So this results in indentured servitude. It's a massive problem in these regions. There's over 100,000 farmer suicides in Pakistan alone. And again, it's a problem that we can actually fix. So the radical part about this is
I'm getting chills, by the way.
Oh, it's amazing.
I thought that this was eliminated in like ancient U.S. history, but it's still going on.
No. And there's different forms of exploitation in every market. Another market is you could look at the venture capital market here in the U.S., where folks who value creators who have a startup business, venture capitalists sort of take a predatory stance. That will be radically changed by these blockchain models, where the access to capital for folks who need it becomes much more decentralized, and there are better channels. So whether it's here in the United States or in regions of the world that are untouched by finance, this changes everything, bro.
I just talked with a VC company that's doing blockchain and VC, which gives you more liquidity, and also, I don't know, it was really cool.
Yeah, I'm not implying that everyone's a bad guy here, but certainly the efficiency of these models really matters, because this is what effective economies are made from, where you can effectively match capital to opportunity.
So I have one last question, which is, so if the RC takes 100% markup, how does your model work? You said there's just exchange of goods, but is someone making money on that?
Yeah, so the folks who own the lending pool, which is a securitized lending pool. So ultimately, the token holders who invest in the pool, and the return that is created by this model. So when you actually issue the loans to the farmers, it's at Western rates,
okay.
And in a peer-to-peer model. But the owners of that pool will actually receive a dividend. So the folks who invest in the capital pool receive a dividend. It's basically charity with a yield. So instead of things like Kiva, where you may give the farmer a loan, right? Small loans to farmers, but that's not a liquid interest, and it's not paying you a dividend. And whether or not you get it back is, a whole nother matter.
I like your model. It sounds, or that company's model, sounds like it'd be hard to misappropriate a loan when it arrives as goods.
Yeah, that's right. So it makes for very low default rates, and that helps sustain the model and give farmers what they need to survive.
Well, it sounds like you and your company working with a lot of great
there's
great
a
things.
ton of other good models like
If
this.
people want to reach out to you, where can they find out more?
Seccurrency.com, Seccurrency.com. Check us out.
Awesome. It was great talking with you.
Yeah, thanks, Caleb.
Boom.